Hello everyone. Welcome back. I'm once again, I don't know where to begin. So if you are new here, my name is Jessie, and on this channel we like to do all things spooky related, and we dive into everything that pertains to the strange and unusual. We really are starting to focus on the Victorian homemaking side of things, so I'm very excited about that. And today's video is no exception. This is probably as Victorian homemaking as you could possibly get in today's video, and this is probably the most excited I have been, and I know I say that with every single video, but this is truthfully the most excited I've been for a video in probably years. I mean that from the bottom of my heart. This is definitely a special one. I am going to be reviewing and discussing a very unique item, a unique antique item. I mean, it's I would call this more than an antique. And I want to keep some things a surprise. I don't want to give it all away in the intro, but I promise you guys, today's video is very special. So if you want to see what I have in store for you, make sure you stick around. And I have been keeping a secret from all of you, and this has been one of the hardest secrets for me to contain in my life, just because this is something that I can't even begin to express how thrilled I am that this actually came true. So for those of you who have been around for a while, you know that I am an avid collector of antiques, oddities, and just strange and unusual pieces that go well with a Victorian aesthetic. So that's the best way I can describe my taste, but I've kind of devoted my adult life to this hobby of mine of where I just go around and I collect these unique things. These are always things that you wouldn't typically find in somebody's house. So, you know, and like I said, for those of you who have been around a while, you know what I'm talking about. There's been some strange things that we've talked about on this channel. And today's video is no exception. I wouldn't call it strange, but there may be some of you who might find this a little bit odd, a little strange and unusual. But today, I am unveiling my newest treasure that I have collected, and this just fills my heart with so much joy. So I just need to give you the backstory of what this item is so you can understand why I'm so excited. I recently found a artifact, if you will. It's a religious artifact, and I didn't find it like out, adventuring. It wasn't like I was, in some sort of exploration, archaeologist dig or something. I'm not talking about that. I'm saying I found this at one of my favorite shops that I frequent in my area, and it is probably one of the coolest finds I have ever come across in my entire life, and I'm not even saying that lightly. So today we're going to be reviewing and discussing a antique religious artifact, and what this item is, it goes by the name of the Child Christ Triumphant, and that is a statue of the Christ child, or baby Jesus, if you will. So it's a statue of baby Jesus that originates from the 17th century. This artifact dates back to probably anywhere from 1609 to about, my guess would be 1640. Anywhere in that time. It could be a little bit later, as late as like the 1680s possibly, but I mean that's still the 17th century. That is as old can get for an art piece. And before I blab on too much about it, I just want to kind of show you what I'm talking about. Again, this is a statue from the 17th century. This is the Baroque era, and it's a beautiful era for artwork. I mean, you see so many beautiful pieces of work that are, being forged in this time period, and many of them are staples in history, and it's truthfully an amazing time, and it's an amazing time for artwork. So I was so thrilled to find, an artifact from this time period. It blows my mind that I was able to make that happen. But this piece, again, is called the Child Christ Triumphant, and it's a religious statue. And I found it at the Learned Lemur. So for those of you who've been around here a while, you know that we love the Learned Lemur around here. We cannot get enough of them. But anyways, I found this piece at the Learned Lemur, and I lost my mind, and of course, it had to come home with me. And I've documented this whole journey, so just stick around because this video is gonna be it's gonna have a few different elements going on to it. But before I blab anymore, let me just show you what I'm talking about. I've included a picture here. Viewer discretion advised. This is a religious artifact, and the Child Christ statue is not in any kind of robe or garment. He is completely nude. So viewer discretion advised, just be forewarned that is the case. But again, it's a religious artifact, so, they did a lot, this kind of artwork, you see a lot of nudity in this, time period, so it's to be expected. So anyways, now that I've given that little disclaimer, let me just show you this amazing art piece. Take a look at this picture. So, as you can see, this is an amazing piece. It's a true diamond in the rough, if you will. This is something that is a collector's dream. It's a genuine art piece from the 17th century, and if you're wondering, that is nearly 400 years ago. So this art piece is about 400 years old. To give you some context, this was before the United States was even founded. You know what I mean? Like that's insane to think about. The United States wasn't even a thing when this art piece was being created. This baby Jesus originates from Spain, actually, and so he's of Spanish origin, and all I know is that he most likely came from a basilica or abbey of some sort, and he does date back to about 400 years ago. And I did my own research on this, and I found a few different interesting things about this piece. There was an artist who was born in the late end of the 1500s by the name of Juan Martinez, and he was referred to as the god of wood. And that's because he was a very, very talented sculptor and wood carver, or wood craftsman, if you will. And he was a renowned artist of the time. He was born in the late 16th century, and he lived to about the mid 17th century. And during his career, he sculpted many of these Child Christ Triumphant statues that I'm speaking of. Now, in my research, all of his work seems to have a very specific look to it. All of the statues of baby Jesus have these long locks of curls and really ornate, kind of glossy finishes to them, and they're just very, they've got a little bit extra pizzazz to them. Like they're just much more like I don't know. They definitely got some sort of glossy like varnish over them. This one does not. My baby Jesus that I picked up does not have that. He also doesn't have the long locks of curls, and his face has a little bit different of a look to it. So I can't confirm for certain if this is an authentic Juan Martinez piece, but I can confirm that this piece comes from the 17th century, that is good enough for me. That is a dream come true. I have always wanted something that originates back to that time period. It misses the Renaissance just slightly. I wish it came from the Renaissance period, but it's just slightly after that. So I wish it did come from the Renaissance, because that's like my dream time period. I would love to own an art piece from that time period, but I will take the Baroque time period any time of the day, just because that is still amazing. So I know I am jabbing my jaws a lot, but I'm just excited, and we have a lot to unpack here. So in today's video, I'm gonna be taking you on this journey with me of buying baby Jesus, or purchasing baby Jesus from the oddity shop, and getting him set up in his forever home here with us. And just kind of gonna give you a rundown of his history a little bit, and it's just gonna be a fun video because it's gonna be like a little history lesson / virtual museum tour, if you will, because you're gonna get to look at some really cool artifacts. So I hope you'll stay with me. As I mentioned, this piece does originate from the Baroque period, and you see some beautiful artwork come from this point in time, and baby Jesus is no exception. He would have been made for an altar during this time. It was very common for Spain and the surrounding regions to own one of these statues, especially from my understanding and my research, especially people of wealth would have these, and they would have a private altar in their homes. So these statues started to become really popular around the mid 17th century. So I would say anywhere from about 1620 on. From my limited research that I've done, the earliest known Child Christ Triumphant that is on record that we think, there could have been one possibly earlier, but I believe was sculpted or carved in 1609. So very beginning of the 17th century. I would imagine that my baby Jesus dates back to the mid 17th century. So I would say anywhere from, I'm going to guess more around the 1640s is most likely where he comes from. But anyways, it was very common for people to have these private altars in their homes, and it was just easy. I don't understand the whole reason why baby Jesus was the choice for these altars. I think because maybe he's smaller, and it just it was a little bit more cost friendly for people to set these private altars up using baby Jesus. But I honestly don't know the exact reasons behind that. That would be a fun little history lesson there. I wish I did know that, but unfortunately I'm not sure why. But I do know that these became a common thing in the mid 17th century on, and a lot of, as I mentioned, basilicas, abbeys, all of the big churches would have these in there as well. So they definitely had kind of a very niche factor about them. You didn't see them everywhere. So they are kind of a rare item for for collectors. People who collect things that are strange and unusual. They are a very hard thing to come by. A authentic statue of the Child Christ Triumphant, you rarely ever see it ever anywhere. I mean, the only places from my research I could find them, I found some on this place called First Dibs, which is an online auction, and those auction for some insane prices. And then I've also seen a few on eBay, also for some insane prices. But when I say a few, I mean like I maybe found two. And of those two, one was in really terrible condition, and the other was like an outrageous amount of money. So So they are a very rare find, and I'm just so thrilled I was able to make this happen. The Learned Lemur, once again, coming through for us. We've talked about the Learned Lemurs so many times on this channel. We love them. And speaking of the Learned Lemur, the next bit of this video, we're going to be traveling to the Learned Lemur. You're going to see when my boyfriend and I went over to pick baby Jesus up, and kind of when we started this process of acquiring him. So I'm going to take you guys with me on that journey. We're going to head over to the Learned Lemur, and we'll pick up baby Jesus, and we're going to get this process started. It's going to be kind of like a little vlog, if you will, a very miniature vlog. I meant to document more of this journey, but life has been very busy right now, and I just have not had the time to film, and this one just really snuck up on me, so I do apologize about that. So it's a mini vlog, but I kind of was I was going back and forth of what I should call this, but I'm not gonna give it a name, because it's not an authentic, or it's not like a actual vlog, just because we're gonna be cramming all of this into one video. So anyways, I'm gonna take you guys with me. We're gonna head over to the Learned Lemur, pick up baby Jesus, and then I'm gonna bring you guys back home, and we're going to set him up in his forever home. And I'll give you a little bit more of a backstory on him. There's a lot to unpack here, but before I do, I kind of want you to officially meet baby Jesus, and I want you to kind of see, what all the fuss is about, why this is such a big deal to me, because, a picture doesn't do justice for this piece. So I'm really excited for you guys to actually meet him. So without further ado, let's just head over to the Learned Lemur, and I will see you guys there. Hi everyone. So we are officially in the car. We're gonna go get baby Jesus. Woo! Woo! This is my boyfriend Alex.
Hello.
He is on this journey with me. Like I don't even know how to feel right now. We're about 8 minutes away, and I am so nervous. I meant to document more of this, so I apologize about that, but I meant to document this whole journey, but it's just, this one kind of snuck up on me. It's just been so hard to find time to film, and I don't know, I wish I would have been able to film more of this, but it's officially pickup day. So we are about 8 minutes away from the Learned Lemur, and the shop owners are there, and they're gonna help us package him up, and they're gonna show us the proper way to do it. So I'm really nervous, and of course it's snowing. Of course it'd be snowing today, so we have that to deal with. But I'm just really nervous because I don't know how all this is gonna go, and we still have the drive back, and the catch with collecting things like this is it's as fun as it is, it's also very nerve-wracking, because these things are just so fragile. They're so fragile, and I'm really nervous. But I'm gonna take you guys with me in there. I'm gonna see if, I always forget his name and I feel really bad, but I'm gonna see if the shop owner will talk a little bit about baby Jesus, and where he came from, and kind of like what he knows about him. I've kind of done my own research a little bit, so I know what I know, but it'd be kind of cool to see what he says. And we'll see what he says. We'll see if he's willing to kind of give a little spiel about him. Anyways, T-minus 6 minutes. So we're really excited, and I will catch you guys at the Learned Lemur. And we're here at the Learned Lemur. All right, so we are here at the Learned Lemur, and we are here with shop owner Bex. And she is just going to give us a little bit of a rundown of baby Jesus and what they know about him before we take him to his forever home.
So other than that, we love him very much, and he's been a beautiful addition to our shop. We got him from an estate in Aspen. And when we got him, we called an art restorator friend of ours who came and took a look at him and told us that because he has glass eyes, he's definitely of Spanish origin. That was a marker and signature of some Spanish religious art. in the 16 and 1700s. So he's from that era. He is wood with plaster, painted plaster on top. So you can see some of the like chips and stuff. That's the paint and the plaster, being 500 years old. He did come out of probably a basilica, a church at least, but probably a fancier church, probably a basilica of a town or region, just because he is a little bit more ornate. And yeah, I think that's pretty much all we know about him. We wish we knew more.
Well, thank you. He's beautiful. We're really excited. We were so excited. But thank you so much for doing that. I talk about you guys on the YouTube channel all the time. I hope you know that. We love the Learned Lemur on this channel. So, but anyways, thank you, Bex. Thank you guys so much. And
Everybody's going to a good home.
yes, he is. But all right, thank you. So that was baby Jesus. And I'm so thankful that the shop owners were willing to give us a little bit of a breakdown of his origins and what they know. I have so many questions. I have so many questions that I wish I could answer, but unfortunately with pieces like this, it's really hard to get providence on a piece like this. I wish I knew more of his origins, but as the shop owner mentioned, he most likely came from a basilica. He is of Spanish origin, and he came from a private collector who was very serious about his collection. So we know that this is a genuine piece. I wish I could get providence on it and be able to tell you more, but it is what it is. I'm just thankful that I was able to make this happen and snag him and bring him home to share with you guys. But anyways, now that we're home and everything, this next bit of footage is just gonna be my boyfriend and I. We're gonna be removing all the packaging and getting baby Jesus set up. So I've included this next bit of footage just to show you that process. This was a really, really unique and kind of once in a lifetime experience for me. So I really wanted to take you guys with me on that journey. So, we're gonna pan over to this next bit of footage, and it's basically just gonna be us getting him all set up. It was a very nerve-wracking experience, I'll be very honest, because a piece this old is just so fragile, and there's just so many things that could go wrong. And my heart was beating about 70 million miles a minute. I'm not even kidding. I can't even tell you how scared I was. But it was a really fun experience, you guys. So that's why I wanted to take you with me. The next part of this video is going to be sped up at like 700%. I don't even know how much truly, but it's going to be sped up quite a bit. And so you're just going to kind of see the process of us getting him out of his wrappings and getting him put into his forever home. And it was a journey, let me tell you. It was a journey. Pieces like, you will see me at some point put on latex gloves, and there's a very good reason for that. Pieces this old literally can't even stand up to air half the time. They disintegrate. Your human hands are one of the worst things for old artifacts and pieces from history like this, things that date back, I would say anywhere from 200 years or more. They're just so fragile, and the worst thing you could do is touch them with oily human hands, just because that will literally disintegrate any of the pieces that have been exposed to air. And this piece is made out of polychrome wood, and unfortunately, we're pretty confident there's some lead paint in there, because back then, a lot of paint, from back then, and even in recent times, when I say recent, I mean 100 years or more, or even 50 years back, I know that there was still issues with lead paint being a thing. But lead paint is very toxic for your skin. So you definitely don't want that to touch your skin, but you also don't want your skin to be touching an ancient piece of artwork that literally disintegrates at the slightest touch. So you will see us wearing latex gloves in this. Like I said, I felt like a little archaeologist while we were doing this. It was really fun. It was really fun, and I brought you guys with me. So let's just take a look at this footage and let's get him all set up in his forever home. All right, so we are finally home, and we're already off to a rocky start. Literally, like, punted this thing across. Not really, but I literally, like, was so focused on the freaking table that I, like, moved the box out of the way with my foot, not even thinking. I'm like, slid it across the floor like an idiot.
This is a good kid. Good kid.
So I'm nervous. This is gonna be like the hardest part that we have to do now. So now we're finally home. We got the stand on the table, and now we got to do the painstakingly tedious process of taking all of this packaging off of baby Jesus. So that's what we're gonna do. I figured we could divide and conquer, and I could work on baby Jesus, and you could work on unpackaging the cloche. I think that would make sense. Is that okay?
Yeah, it's fine.
Okay. All right.
You probably want some scissors.
No, they said not to use scissors.
So they said just to cut the tape and not to cut the bubble wrap.
Well, I have some scissors in the drawer that's in front of the ghost. The only thing is, I still don't know where. Oops.
Kitty, she lied to me.
They're in there, I promise.
Kitty, she's lying again.
They're little blue scissors.
Kitty. Oh, Kitty, I'm an idiot. No, these are perfect.
Yeah. You're very perfect. Okay, so we are at a point where I now have to put on these latex gloves because baby Jesus is about 400 years old, and literally anything touching him, especially like, oily human skin, would cause him to, what did they use a reference of? Disintegrate, it was like something. He literally just kind of like disintegrates if you don't have these on. So moving forward, I think I'm going to have the gloves on. They use some sort of example of what happens, but...
It was like something that peel.
Okay, so we just got him out of all of his wrappings, And I'm gonna do probably the scariest part now where it's picking him up and transferring him to his base. I have to get familiar with like where the holes are. I'm really hoping we got that facing the right way. But you said there's no like major chipped parts on this side, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like right down here?
Yep.
Because my plan is I want to grab him from like right here and then under his head.
That would be perfect.
Okay. I should probably get more. All right. Wish me luck. All right. Hold on. I'm sorry. I'm like really nervous. So it's just because he's so old that like parts chip off really easy, and I'm just trying really hard not to do that. That's why we have to wear these gloves. And you're for sure she grabbed underneath the base of his back and under his head? Oh, you're not? Well, that seems like the most appropriate, so. Alright.
Because he's a baby.
Okay. Okay. Alright, so there are the. I'm gonna do my best to place him down now. Does he look okay?
He looks good. You're doing great.
This is so scary.
Doing wonderful.
My love,
Mm-hmm.
will you set the phone down for a second and get down on the floor and tell me, please? Oh, you guys. That is so exciting. I don't know what I touched when I was like running my hand down the. I think, dare I say it, we made it with like no casualties at all. Knock on wood. And we're back. I hope you guys liked that. That was truthfully nerve-wracking. I can't even tell you. That was probably one of the top 5 most nerve-wracking moments, and I hate to say it, but in my life. It really was. Like, I was so scared that something was gonna go wrong. He is just so fragile, you guys, and I'm not trying to go into too much detail, but it's worth mentioning. I was also like, sweating bullets because like a piece like this usually comes with a hefty price tag, and I was really, really scared of, damaging him or something going wrong, because that would have just ruined me. That would have just been so awful. And that aside, the financial ruin part of it aside, had something gone wrong, all of that aside, you also don't ever want to be the person who's responsible for damaging a 400-year-old piece of history. You know what I mean? Whenever I acquire pieces like this, I take on this like caretaker responsibility, if you will, or this caretaker complex. It's just, I feel like it's my responsibility now to make sure that this piece is preserved as well and safely to the best of my capabilities, so that way he is around to last another generation, another 400 years would be the hope. I want to make sure that I'm doing everything I can in my power to preserve this beautiful artwork, and that's kind of the responsibility you take on when you collect pieces like this. And it's, it's a burden, but it also fills my heart with so much joy to be able to do this as a hobby. So anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed that. That was really exciting. So now baby Jesus is all set up. We didn't film putting the glass dome on because that was just really hard. We had to do that together. The glass dome is just really big and bulky and fragile, and we just didn't want to risk that breaking. So we didn't film that part of it. But now baby Jesus is all set up and he's in his forever home and he looks glorious. He looks absolutely glorious. And I am so excited. I've been waiting for this, this entire video, this entire process. But without further ado, it is time to give baby Jesus his close-up. I'm just so excited. So let's go ahead and take a look. And there we have it. Oh my goodness, you guys. I am so thrilled that I got to finally introduce you to baby Jesus. It is just a dream come true. This is seriously one of my dream pieces. I have always wanted something that is that, that old, that ancient, and that has that kind of history about it. I've always wanted something like that. I would say that he might be my most cherished antique that I owned, the most cherished thing that I've ever collected in my entire life. I don't know, I can't even find the words. When I look at him, I feel so inspired, and I just feel so, it's just like looking at a piece of history, like a little snapshot of history. And I hope you guys liked coming on this journey with me and, getting to see this process. It was truthfully a once in a lifetime thing for me. And I'm just so happy I got to share it with you. If you did enjoy this video, please, please, please be sure to give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't already, please make sure that you subscribe to the channel. We would love to have you. Our spooky family is growing every day. And I'm just so thankful for each and every one of you. You make this such a fun hobby for me. And, this has just been such a fun experience. So, if you did like this, please make sure you stick around for future content, because I promise there's going to be more weird things. And I don't even like saying weird. There's going to be more fantastic things, just very unique things that you don't come across every day. And I promise, every new video is going to be its own adventure, and I have so many exciting things coming your way. There's already things that are in the works, that I can't even talk about right now because I'm just, they're a surprise. So I promise you, if you liked today's video, there is more good things coming. So definitely make sure you hit that notification bell. Make sure that you're subscribed to the channel. And as always, guys, please stay safe and happy Halloween.